Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back for the second game of our PDL webcast doubleheader. Second semifinal game here at Starfire Sports Stadium in Tukwila, Washington, just south of the Seattle city limits. As we have the host team, the away team in this due to seeding, the Seattle Sounders U23. They're out there right now and also making their way out on the field, KW United FC, for the starting lineups for tonight's second semifinal game. In the first semifinal game, it was the New York Red Bulls U23 2, and the Ocala Stampede won 2-1 New York over Ocala of Florida. And so New York will play in the final, the championship game coming up on Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific time. So here we go, ready for our second matchup and taking a look at our starting lineups for this one. First of all, for the visiting Sounders U23, goalkeeper is Jefferson Caldwell. One of the defenders is Matthew Ronica. Also, defender Mark Lee. Defender Austin Dunker. The defender is Chase Hansen. Midfielders, Kasima Bojang. Also, Troy Peterson, Kento Sakurai, and Florian Velo. Forwards, Joseph Gertzen and also Guillermo Delgado. So that's Caldwell, Reinica, Lee. Want to make sure we have this one all set here. Dunker, as well as Hansen, Bojang, Peterson, Sakurai, Velo, Gertzen, and Delgado. For the KW United FC, they have in goal Nate Ingham. Also, defenders Ridge Robinson, Zach Ellis Hayden, Justin Springer, Liam Callahan. Midfielders Ken Koricki, midfielder Joel Perez, midfielder Kyle Roots, and also forward, we might need some help with that one there, as we just got these lineups coming through from us. Oyvind Alseth, Ben Polk is a forward, and Sergio Camargo. So you've got Ingham, Robinson, Ellis Hayden, Springer, Callahan, Koricki, as well as Perez, Rutz, Alseth, Polk, and Camargo. The head coach of KW United FC is Chris Pozniak, and the head coach of the Sounders U23 is Darren Sawatsky.
Darren Sawatsky, of course, a local fixture. He played in MLS for 4 seasons, played several other leagues, as we'll take a break for the national anthems.
And now the American national anthem after O Canada. Set to go, ladies and gentlemen, after the starting lineups for tonight's second match, second semifinal between Seattle Sounders U23, coming in with a record of 10-4-1, against KW United FC with a record of 13-2-1. Mark Ock along with Nathan Murphy here at Starfire Sports Stadium in Tukwila, Washington. Thanks for being with us on the PDL webcast. Second game of our semifinal doubleheader. The first one featured the New York Red Bulls with a 2-1 victory over Ocala, Florida. Red Bulls U23 team, as they have that great player development program taking place, and it pays off with how they did in overtime with a 2-1 victory. And so we're getting set for our second game to determine the opponent for the New York Red Bulls. And lots of brass here from Seattle Sounders FC, the MLS franchise, including head coach in his seventh year, Ziggy Schmid, and also their general manager out here tonight. This is where the Sounders S2 team plays, which is a USL team. They're currently tied for first place with the LA Galaxy. And this is also home of the Seattle Sounders women, which play in the W League, an 18-team league, which is the same level of play on the women's side as the U23 PDL league, which features 63 teams. So this area gets a lot of usage out here, not just this field, but also the fields behind us. Most of them field turf, the most field turf fields of any complex in the world. And they've got several grass fields here too, which are used for soccer primarily, but also they use it for lacrosse and football. They have summer camps out here. It's a rare day, and we actually saw one a few weeks ago when there's nothing going on out here except a game out here. It's always something hopping and happening. It's also the training facility for the Sounders FC of the MLS, the top drawing team, averaging about 40,000 fans a game since their inception in 2009. And it is just a beautiful night for soccer. It's a beautiful night for just about everything here in the Seattle area. Little breeze, and this stadium is located on the banks of the Green River. There's also railway that goes past us on the left side that goes all the way border to border from Canada to Mexico, and part of it goes through the outside part of the retractable roof for Safeco Field, home of the Seattle Mariners, just to kind of give you some insight and paint the picture as to what we have going on here where we are at. It is a beautiful facility. Again, the PDL semifinals are presented by Nike, and we thank Nike for their sponsorship of the PDL and all the great things they sponsor throughout the world. As there's a Nike soccer banner across the way from us, and plenty of banners locally for the Sounders U23. Darren Sawatsky, general manager of the Sounders U23 team, and also the Sounders women, and head coach of the Tacoma Stars indoor soccer team. He keeps a busy schedule.
He does.
He also has 4 children, so Darren is usually on the go. We have kickoff time. We are underway, and the lights taking effect. So that is something different. Thank you very much, Nathan, as we have a complete contrast as how it was to start things off for the first game between the Red Bulls and Ocala, and we'll adjust to it as well.
You would have no idea how dark and cold it could be just a couple of hours ago when it was absolutely scorching out here.
Yeah, big change. So the players warming up as the transition came when the sun went down, and now here they go. And we get set and ready to go with a whole new group of players out there. The Sounders FC, pretty easy to spot in those the soccer ball down at their end, but often called the football around here.
You were talking about the Cascadia Cup, and it's timely. We've got a matchup between Seattle and Vancouver tomorrow night at CenturyLink Field in downtown Seattle, and the Sounders with an opportunity to claim the Cascadia Cup for the first time in about 5 years. So they're opening the whole stadium, expect a good 55,000 people out for that one.
And they can't put over 60,000 in there at CenturyLink, which is Gertson, and also it will be Dunker. Here they go, and high in the air. Sounders in the attack right now, into the 5th minute of play.
Look at Gertson contained with 3 men on him.
Keep in mind that in that first game, we saw a goal relatively quickly in the 7th minute by the New York Red Bulls, and it was the 38th minute before we saw another one, and it took them, for the Red Bulls, all the way into the 24th minute of overtime before there was yet a third goal scored by either team in the match.
That was the 113th minute of the match, so that's a difference of over 100 minutes between goals for New York, but they will go through on the strength of that extra time goal. It's their second consecutive extra time victory after they beat Jersey Express in the conference final.
Oh, shot wide off the right side by Gertzen. He put plenty of foot on it, and it went wide to the right.
It's an absolute rocket from the winger. What pace.
Gertzen is the midfielder coming over from the left side that time, and we have in goal for KW United, Nate Ingham.
Nate Ingham from Kerswick, Ontario, played at Florida Gulf Coast University, and he was part of the Toronto FC Academy. He's played 13 games this year, only surrendered 10 goals, 11 wins, a draw, and a loss with 7 shutouts. And this is remarkable, Mark, an .848 save percentage.
That's fabulous. And you got, and again, another situation where this time he's coming through the Toronto Academy system. We talked about that a lot with the Red Bulls, and of course the Sounders have done a tremendous job in this market and right here at this facility and developing a lot of homegrown players.
Well, absolutely. We've already talked about DeAndre Yedlin, and he's kind of the case study here. He's an academy player from Federal Way, played in the Seattle Academy, played on this under-23 side only 3 years ago, and look what he's done after 2 seasons with Seattle and now in a first with Spurs. But that's kind of the idea. You find
one of the goalkeepers, Jefferson.
Caldwell Jefferson.
In front now as we let the pitchers kind of describe what's going on here. And we are in the 7th minute coming up to the 8th minute. One of the teams you would think would maybe try to take charge here in the early going, or maybe they'll just kind of keep volleying around a little bit. And what do you think?
No, the feeling out process continues here past the first couple of minutes. Maybe you don't expect it to last so long, but you know, here's something that we're thinking about. Both of these teams had a much longer wait to start this game than maybe you would have expected. I think mentally that might have an impact where you're thinking this game's going to start around 8:15, maybe 8:20. We didn't get kicked off until right about 9 o'clock. And so you're psyched, you're ready, you're all set to go, and then it's a little bit of hurry up and wait. So they're settling back into it, I think.
Which is about an hour from when we were scheduled to start.
Well, I always thought that was a little optimistic.
Yeah, me too. So now Sounders, U23 in the attacking end. It goes back towards their side. Over on the left side. And finally we'll go out with the throw-in coming up.
We didn't get a chance at the top of this game to tell you the referee for this game is Manuel Soledad. Jeff and Connor Hazelwood are your assistants, and Seth Martin is your 4th official.
Up front, here come KW, but broken up very well by Sounders FC. That is Guillermo Delgado. We're going to keep an eye on him because he has those 32 shots on goal. So we have a hunch he will be putting his foot to it and try to get one in the net.
It's worth noting, though, that Sounders are without a very important player for them tonight. And we didn't get a chance to ask why that is, but a key player for them, he was actually nominated for Defender of the Year and had 2 goals in the playoffs, including a game winner. So a big miss for the Sounders
tonight.
Boy, no
kidding right there for them. So the Sounders having to win 3 games, 3 matches to get to this point. They're the only team of the 4 that had to do that.
They are, and every conference had a little bit different arrangement because there were more teams in the Northwest Division than there were in the other 2. They had a play-in game between 2nd and 3rd to see who would get that conference semifinal slot. Of course, anytime Portland and Seattle match up in anything that even looks a little bit like soccer, it's going to be a big thing.
Absolutely. So they won against Portland 4-1, and then the Burlingame Dragons FC was their next opponent. That is out of South San Francisco area. They won 1-0 in that one, and then won against FC Tucson 2-1.
Tucson, of course, had knocked out the previously undefeated Kitsap Pumas. So a good representation from the Puget Sound region with 2 teams in the conference semifinals for the PDL.
Fire. No between Sound U23 and KW United. That one's out. Pace picking up just a little bit right here. Oh, good pressure coming that direction, and a save off the soft shot. Jefferson Caldwell laying two hands on it and rolls the ball out to the left side. Here come in their Xbox tops, the Sounder U23. Now, all the teams get to wear that like the big league club.
What a great thing, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's an excellent sponsorship. Microsoft, with the creator and developer of Xbox, and they are headquartered just up the road from us in Redmond, Washington, one of the great corporate entities that are started and headquartered here on the western side of the state.
I blame them for how long it took me to get here, Mark.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
No, I can't really talk, seeing as I work for Boeing, and the traffic's just as bad in and around Everett. But
oh, yeah.
It's just got to be a thrill, not just at this level with the other under 23s, but I'm thinking about being a sophomore in college like some of these guys, or being a 16-year-old earning a spot on that academy team. And, the Sounders as an MLS side have been around for 7 seasons now, since 2009. So if you're playing on the under 16s, you were maybe 8 years old when those came in. So you've been watching the Seattle Sounders become a thing as you've gotten older, and now you get to put this shirt on. That's just got to be a marvelous thing as a young person.
Oh, definitely. And they've had a chance to come through the ranks, and maybe at some point they'll get to play for the MLS team.
That's the whole idea, and you look at the swath of homegrown players that are available to the Sounders organization. You look at guys like Darwin Jones, who are making an impact for Sounders too, and looking to turn around Aaron Kovar and get some minutes on the first team. And that's exactly what this is about. Move guys through the system, the homegrown player contracts, and across MLS and up at the U.S. men's national team, you're seeing the results of things like that.
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt on that there. So we have a whistle on the other end there. Did you pick that up?
Yeah, just a pushing foul going against, I think that was Delgado over there, or it might have been Volo.
So they go the other direction now. And I see it looks like Duke is on the front of the uniforms for KW United, to see what Duke stands for.
Could be Duke Energy. Is that a provider up there? I'm not sure.
Duke of Wellington, it says.
Well, let's to the Google.
Let's go to the Google on that.
I'm sorry, it's to the Bing.
Yeah, yeah. Since we
were just talking about Microsoft.
All right, here we go. Sounders U23 coming out of the backside, and here they come up the right side. Soft touch now towards the middle with the cross. That is Delgado, and it's going to be an offside. Another goal kick in the 14th minute. So this one has started out differently than what happened in the first one when they had the goal in the 7th minute. Nice long kick right there. KW United. This would be big for the Sounders U23 to pick up a victory against this team.
It would be huge, playing against the hottest team in the league. This is the second semifinal appearance for Seattle Sounders under 23. Darren Sawatsky brought them here back in 2012, where they fell to Forest City, London, from the same part of Canada in that Toronto area. But Seattle hoping for a different result here tonight, hoping to move on to their first championship game here at home.
Wouldn't that be something to have it right here? And if I remember correctly, this is the first time it's been on the West Coast since 2011.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's been, I think, 4 years. U23 for the Sounders have not made it to this point since 2012, as Nathan was saying, but they haven't had a championship on the West Coast since 2011. So that would be double special if they went all the way.
Worth pointing out, the Duke of Wellington is a pub there in Waterloo. That's clever enough. The
there
Duke of Wellington at Waterloo. So if you're watching in the Duke of Wellington pub, hello to you. Give us a shout out on Twitter. Use hashtag PDL Championship. We'll say hi.
Sounders FC with about 500 season this year. They've had some definitely a tough stretch. Some injured players and some other incidents that have caused them to sink. And their brain trust is out here right now.
Look at Sakurai making that run, just unable to get on the end of it and push it past Ingham. Great run.
Now in the 15th minute of play. Oh, nice little back kick right there. And that's going to go out. The Sounders U23 will have their chance to make something happen here. Breaking it down from an analyst standpoint, what might they try here off this throw-in?
You know, they're just trying to work some possession a little bit forward. There's not been a lot of strung-together possession for either side this far. Seattle just wants to settle it down here in the attacking third, spend some time on the ball. As you look, they're trying to move people into a position where they cannot just throw it in but try and hold it.
And that one's going to go out.
I saw a statistic the other day. I was talking with some other referees. There was some discussion about how upset sometimes people can get about which way a throw-in goes, and the statistic I saw was something like 70% of throw-ins, possession changes within 2 touches.
Oh, my.
So it's not all that impactful, apparently.
Yeah. At midfield, U23 for Seattle. They haven't really mounted a charge up close yet. That one shot earlier by Gertson. Into the 17th minute, still no score between KW United and Seattle.
Still very, I don't want to say tentative from these two teams, but they're
yeah, it
still
seems
just,
that way, kind of.
They're just feeling each other out. They're probing. It's probing play. That's what it is. It's not tentative. They're just little parries and thrusts, seeing where the weaknesses are. It's a different thing. These two teams haven't seen each other. They really probably haven't even got much of a chance to watch film until this week. So,
kind of getting up to speed with them, just like us.
Just a process of getting familiar.
I've seen the U23. I did public address for them earlier this month, in fact, and it was a hot one on July 2nd against the Washington Crossfire, and the Sounders U23 won that match down at Sunset Chevrolet Stadium in Sumner down the road, where they play a number of their games.
They played some there, and they played in Tacoma as well, didn't they, this season?
Yeah, they did, and they have to play down in Pierce County because of a agreement. Oh,
Saved
that got
off the
knocked
line.
out of there. Yeah, he did. I'll get you his off the crossbar with the block and making a lot of movement down there. Excited that he got the job done was Matthew Reinicke. He's the guy that stopped it right on the line.
The feed's a couple seconds behind, so we have the chance to take a look and see exactly what happened here as we look at the feed as the ball comes in here. The goalkeeper just a little bit caught off trying to chase the ball, and one of these two guys got a foot on it. It's either Reinicke or Lee. They were both on the line. I think it was Reinicke who actually got it.
It was.
And anytime you save off the line, what a thrilling moment for a defender. You prevent a goal.
No question about it, and also that follow-up off the crossbar. We saw a couple go off the crossbar for the New York Red Bulls. That would have been interesting. We wouldn't have had overtime.
Well, the third time was the charm with those little flicks up over the top. They finally got one to settle in. Did Joe Farrell to find the game winner in the 113th minute. What a thriller that was, and the Red Bulls move on.
Up front now, KW United kind of rolls together. 19th minute of play.
A shout out to Daryl Carter in Kitchener, Ontario. Glad you're enjoying the broadcast.
That's great. He's on Twitter.
You bet. Hi, Daryl.
So what's he saying there?
He's not in the pub, but he wants to talk to us anyway.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, good stuff. It's fun. It's fun for us to get the chance to be watched in a setting like this by people around the world. Fans in different parts of North America here enjoying this one, and we're glad you're all with us. I'm Nathan Murphy. Mark Ockett's got the stick, and we got a corner.
Yep, that was a corner and batted away off the left side.
First one of the match for Kitchener. First one for either side.
Yeah. Now, how many did we have in that first match?
Oh, man,
it was like about
I got it
17,
buried,
18 combined, if I remember
Red
correctly.
Bulls had 9 and 5 for Ocala.
14.
So a lot of corners.
And now the kick coming up from Jefferson Caldwell. Taking a little bit of extra time. We got a substitution, that's why. David Olson is into the match. He looks like he's about 14. He's a young-looking excellent soccer player coming off the sideline.
And the Gambian,
they pull.
Kasima Bojang will leave. Hopefully he's all right. I didn't think he looked hurt, but he is going to call it a night.
Be interesting to get word on whether he's okay. As we enter the 21st minute, no score. Batted out of there. And again, here comes KW United. Up front and headed out of there. Good defensive play again. Getting his head on it this time was Reinicke. He made that great save at the line just a little while ago. We're at the 21-minute mark and in the back end of the field, of the pitch. There's Reinicke once again, heading it out of there. He's pretty animated out there, too. That one's going to go wide right, and a goal kick will be coming up. Now, we got a lot of individuals down below us. I mentioned the people from Sounders FC, but it looks like there might be some scouts out here or just people from the clubs keeping track of things.
Well, you got to assume that some of the technical staff for New York Red Bulls are out here.
Yeah, watching for the scouting for the final.
It's probably safe to assume that at least somebody from Toronto FC is here, as close as they are to the Kitchener area.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've got the PDL championships here. This is the premier event for the Premier Development League. So you've got to expect that MLS scouts and player agents and goodness knows who else are going to be out here taking this one in.
Yeah, for Seattle, of course, this is where the Sounders FC trains. So they're not having to really travel far at all. It's just another night out, a nice Friday night out. And that's what you do. No game? Oh, I'm going to go watch a game.
You bet.
That one's going to go out.
You know, if I had my guess, I bet there's somebody from Vancouver Whitecaps here as well, seeing as they
play
the Sounders' first team tomorrow night here in Seattle, just up the road, CenturyLink Field, about 13 miles. That place is going to be rocking tomorrow night, Mark Arquette.
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
Big weekend for Sounders because they're going to get some people back. Clint Dempsey will be available to be selected. Presumably he'll get some minutes in the second half, maybe 45 or so. There's a chance also that Obafemi Martins could return. Brad Evans will be back in the side, so a lot of returnees for the first team, and boy, they need them.
Yeah, they have really slid here in the last few weeks for one reason or another. But still, plenty of season left, as that is a marathon season that starts in March and goes into October. We got some noise down below us there.
I don't know what's going on down in the corner.
I think Pete Richmeyer, the public address announcer, is dancing for him or something down there.
Not to spend too much time on the Seattle Sounders, but it's worth pointing out that it kind of all started here at Starfire with that wild affair in mid-June against the Timbers in the Open Cup. And since that time, I'm trying to think back. I think since that time, Seattle have scored one goal.
Yeah, was it 5 in a row they've been shut out? Or they went through that stretch of 5?
They've lost 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
And I think they've been shut out in 5 of those, yeah.
Yeah, we better be a little quiet because their head coach is sitting right down below us. He's going to turn around and say, hey, you guys, stop reminding me. Shut up.
It's a tough stretch, but we have faith. We have faith, Ziggy. We have faith. It's going to turn around.
Yeah. Ziggy, of course, in the MLS for many years. Used to coach college at UCLA.
Also at Akron, right?
I think so, yeah. It's going back a ways, huh?
Made a powerhouse out of those guys.
The Zips.
Yeah.
Ball is up for grabs. Let's put it that way.
Now here's go ahead.
Well, we're past the halfway point of the first half, and still no score between the two squads.
This is an wildly unfounded rumor at best, but there was some discussion about the security of Jurgen Klinsmann's job in the aftermath of the kind of tepid performance in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. I heard Ziggy's name thrown around a couple of times.
Ooh.
What do you think about that, Ziggy for the national side?
Well, he certainly got the resume.
Yeah, he does.
He definitely has a mission to get done this season, though. I know how badly they'd love to get to that championship, but as we focus here on what's going on,
the Sounders
that one
really
knocked
wanted
away.
that corner. They're not going to get it.
though instead KW United will go the other direction, coming up on the 26-minute mark, and still no score in this one. In the first match, New York Red Bulls 2 and Ocala Stampede 1. New York scored in the first minute, and then again, was it the 113th minute?
113th minute. 106 minutes apart between the two New York goals, but it is enough. And in their first season in PDL, they'll play for the title on Sunday afternoon.
Isn't that something, as they made the transition?
They did. They were in the NPSL, the National Premier Soccer League, which is roughly equivalent to the PDL. Both of them are considered to be in the fourth tier of U.S. soccer. And they won the NPSL last year, did the Red Bulls, an undefeated season, 20 consecutive wins.
So it just carries forward. Now they're playing for the final in the PDL.
This would be a unique thing for them to win.
Look at this guy. He's trying to figure
out.
Yeah, no kidding. He's looking to make something happen.
Scramble by New York in the penalty area in the 18th minute where it was cleared off the line by Renica. Other than that, it's been really quiet, Mark.
It definitely has. Do you think, and I don't think we brought this up yet, that the delay, the wait, might have thrown him off a little bit as far as intensity, having to wait that? Not that we thought that they would start at 8, but even still, it's still going on 10 o'clock at night.
You know, it's certainly possible. It's certainly possible, and it's a tough thing as a player. This is kind of unusual in soccer with a doubleheader. You don't see a lot of those, so normally the start time is published. You've got your build-up. You've got your preparation. A lot of players are really into the routines that they have set for themselves. Mm-hmm. And when you have to kind of adjust your routine mentally, they talk about this a lot in the NCAA tournament where you've got the second game of the session. It's 30 minutes after the first one, whenever that happens to be.
Yeah, whenever it happens to be. You know, one of the things, though, too, I do like is the fact that they put them at 6 and 8 and not 4 and 6 or something like that, especially with the heat the way it's been. And the fact for more people to get out there. You can definitely feel the crowd's presence in this match right now as we are in the second game of the doubleheader. 29th minute is where we sit. And we sit on the north side watching this one and calling it for you on the PDL webcast. Mark Ockett and Nathan Murphy. Oh, that one over the top.
You know, I kind of think Joel Perez should have shot that ball. He turned with it a couple times right inside the penalty area. He had a chance to turn one on goal, and instead he passed it. I think he had the better opportunity myself.
Goal kick coming up for Jefferson Caldwell.
Another University of Virginia man, won the national championship in 2014.
Yeah, they've got a great all-around sports program there in soccer in the ACC located in Charlottesville. Again, coming out Caldwell now heading into we're in the 30th minute of play, still no score. Thanks for tuning in to the webcast. Make a few announcements here while we have a chance. Stay up to date with what is happening throughout the league at uslpdl.com. Also become a fan of the PDL on Facebook. Visit facebook.com/USLPDL for exclusive league news and interactive content. Follow at USLPDL on Twitter to become a PDL League insider. Join club conversations and track notable alumni through their but not member FDIC.
I don't think Canadian banks can be members.
No,
of
they
the
have
FDIC.
their own thing up there.
Sure they do.
That time fired away and falling over, rolling over is Camargo.
Nice.
Sergio Camargo.
Nice effort from him. Sergio Camargo from Curacao playing at Columbia.
Breaking free. A little bit of a deke and a great save right there with the shot was Camargo again. But getting his hand on it, poking it away to the right side, Caldwell.
What a great worked offensive play by the KW United there. Joel Perez had a touch, got it across to Camargo, who just ripped it. I'm not certain if Caldwell got a paw to that or not. It definitely hit the post, but probably the most threatening opportunity since that scramble in the 18th minute.
Did you check your lunar calendar? I think we have a full moon tonight. It is rising to the southeast of us Going to be a nice moon for them to play under.
The
Meanwhile, back at Starfire, the two teams going back and forth continuously. A little more, you see a little more up-tempo now than what we saw earlier.
The game's starting to open up a little bit. We've got some opportunities at both ends, a little bit more space.
Look at this. Oh, broken up, but it gets another poke away, and that one's going to be a corner kick for the Sounders U23 with a solid effort for the Sounders was David Olson, who was substituted in earlier.
And that's brilliantly defended by Justin Springer. He does an excellent job. He goes to ground, which you have to be careful doing in the penalty area just in case, but he does a marvelous job to get the ball and stay far away from the man. Not even a question about a penalty, and he forces it out for a Seattle corner. That's their first.
Joseph Gertzen with the corner kick over off the left side. Teammates scurrying around, and a header just misses. This time it is by Reinicke, who's been sensational on the defensive end. He comes through just off to the wide left side with the header. The curly hair, he's going to make his way back into the backfield.
And you can see it on his face. He is not happy, is not the man with the armband. Matt Reinicke from Mill Creek, Washington, about 30 miles from here, north of Seattle, played at Jackson High School.
Beautiful area.
Just not able to get on top of that enough to put it on frame. Great worked corner.
Sounders moving forward now. These teams just look very evenly matched at this point. Booting it ahead will be Gertzen. You agree?
There doesn't appear to be a lot between them right now. Well defended by both teams so far. The chances that have existed have been shut down by the back four on both sides. Of course, the clearance off the line by Reinicke, but we were talking about a poised match toward the end of regulation. And
for KW was 3-1. That was a 3-1 victory. Definitely more offense than we're seeing here at this point. Well, as far as putting it in the net.
It's a tough road for KW, too. In addition to having to beat Michigan, they had to beat Michigan in Pontiac, Michigan.
But they did not play at the former Silverdome.
No, they did not.
Oh, shot right on. This time taken by David Olson, and the save in goal by Nate Ingham.
Good pace on that, and he kept it down, but unfortunately it was right at Nathan Ingham. Not really a difficult save for him. He just stood and let the ball come to him. But good pace on the shot.
Now KW United with the ball up front. Sounders set up defensively, trying to shield him out of there. Duke of Wellington pub. Are they listening at the Duke of Wellington pub then?
I haven't heard from anybody who is, but I hope they are.
People from the Duke of Wellington pub in
Waterloo.
Waterloo.
Of course it's in Waterloo. It's the Duke of Wellington at Waterloo.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
Didn't ABBA write a song about that?
I'm sure they did.
Up front.
Ooh,
nice. Got away with it right there.
He kept the ball. Wow.
Yeah, he did. Sounders player hanging onto the ball that time was Guillermo Delgado as he took a chuck from the backside.
Physical play over there in the corner. There's not been a lot whistled so far in this game by Manuel Soledad and his crew.
I think because they're from up there in Ontario, once in a while they want to throw a little hockey move in. Which is interesting is that they're trying to look at building a facility here to get an NHL team in this very area.
It's like just across the tracks over there,
yeah,
isn't it?
Literally about a mile from here. So
right next to the station, the Tacoma Sounder station.
So people up in the Toronto and the area where Kitchener and Waterloo, who've heard about Seattle getting a team, that they would put it right near us here if they got that arena built. If. That's
a lot of ifs. Just for myself, living up in the North End, I would really prefer it be downtown than out here.
Cockett along with Nathan Murphy bringing you the action on the PDL webcast. Okay, a little over 7 minutes until we hit stoppage time.
Hey, we have somebody at the Duke of Wellington.
There we go.
Andres.
Reporting live from the Duke of Wellington pub is Andres M.
Wonderful. Hello to everybody there.
Sounders U23 moving forward now. It's David Olson coming through, breaking it up. Justin Springer, and out of bounds it goes. The moon continues to rise up, create a beautiful setting here at Starfire Sports Stadium. So
it's
if
a
you're
blue moon.
It is a full moon, definitely.
It's a blue moon, too.
Or a blue moon.
Second one of the month.
Yeah. And it would explain maybe some of people's behavior around. Maybe those fans down, actually, they're just having a good time. What do you see happening here from either side as we close in on halftime?
You know, we talked about the game opening up a little bit, and that's continued. The game's a lot more spread out. We were stuck, within about 15 yards of midfield for a good long while there, and the game has spread to the ends a little bit. We've seen some shots from both teams, not some real quality scoring chances, but I think we're setting ourselves up for what could be a very entertaining second half as teams start to find the weaknesses of the opponents.
Now we have the ball come loose out behind the end line almost, and it's knocked out and away, last touched by a KW United player, and it's going to be a throw-in for Sounders U23. Set to do that will be Austin Durker.
Austin Dunker, the left back, very involved offensively as Dunker, and this is his second season with the Seattle Under-23s. Greensboro, North Carolina native. He'll be a senior at Elon University.
I know that area well from doing minor league baseball back in North Carolina.
Oh, I didn't know you were out there.
Yeah, I was there in the Carolina League for 4 years.
Oh, right on.
I remember that exit for Elon University very well when we'd come from Winston-Salem to Durham. On the pitch right now, Sounders U23 moving ahead. Somebody going to break this knot before we get to halftime? We shall see. They try up the right side. It's just kind of missing down there.
The connections aren't great for either team, really. It was a nice idea there to switch the field. Good work from Renica and Sakura to make that work, but there just hasn't been a whole lot in it so far.
Again, KW United will try again. We see a number of people. Now, who are these? Are these the referees from earlier?
They are.
The officials from earlier. Have you heard who's going to be there doing it on Sunday?
I don't know. I don't have access to those assignments.
Why not?
I don't referee at this level, much less assign it.
It's sealed in an envelope.
I'm sure they've been made already, but I don't know who they will be.
And then how did you feel, without putting pressure on you, how did you feel that they called that first game? There was a lot of yellow cards, and we haven't seen any of that yet. Of course, it's still in the first half.
I think that there's not a lot I would change. There's one play where we were talking about, I think there was an arm in the back that may have deserved a yellow card. But we had this angle. The referee was over on the other side of it. Great job. The one critical incident of the match was the red card, and that was absolutely right. So good job.
Totally a good call. Definitely justified. Ball kicked away. And again, they just continue in the scoreless tie out here in the PDL second semifinal game. And again, thanks to everybody for tuning in on the webcast. I might have to get my iPad up here. I've just been so engaged in watching what's going on. Of course, you see, push off right there. He goes down.
Little shove in the back. I think that was Ken Krolicki.
It was. Train going by on the east side of the stadium there. Actually hasn't been too bad here for a while. We had some of the commuter trains going by earlier.
Well, it helps we got the drum going. It's a little bit louder.
Yeah.
Now. I'll tell you, when we have S2 here and there's a full-throated support section off to our left, you can't hear the trains at all. It's absolutely magnificent.
That is magnificent.
The atmosphere they get going in here for those games.
Long kick to see if they can make something happen. Couple of headers. Looking ahead, it can happen so quickly in this game. We saw that earlier in the Red Bulls when they came through late to get that game-winning goal.
We almost saw it here in the 18th minute as KW had that scramble inside the penalty area.
Yep.
That resulted in the clearance off the line by Reinica. That came out of absolutely nowhere, and that's how it
sure
can
did.
happen
Now look out here as they go the other direction.
Picked his pocket.
Popped it away that time. That is Gertson. Good defense by Gertson and Sounders U23. But again, along with the pass, can he catch up with it? Oh, just a little bit high. With the left-footed kick was Guillermo Delgado. And he's a guy who will take shots at the net. Just off a little bit too much on it. Unfortunate. That could have been beautiful for these fans here in Seattle.
Easily the best opportunity of the match so far for Seattle. Gertson, after he picked his man's pocket at the 18 in his defensive end, took 3 or 4 dribbles and then sent it a good 65 yards and picked out Delgado. He managed to get a touch on it between the defender and the goalkeeper, Ingham, but just over the top. Great opportunity.
Going the other direction, it is Sounders trying to get on the defensive here and prevent something from happening as we have less than a minute to go to get to the 45-minute mark. Sounders U23 with the home field advantage at this point in time. Their fans would like to erupt with something special out here. Again, I want to thank Bootstrapper Studios for today's broadcast. Live streaming sports and events of all sizes. Visit them at bootstrapperstudios.com. bootstrapperstudios.com.
Goal kick given here. Again, Seattle unhappy about not getting the corner. They've only had one in the match and only one for Kitchener, so not a whole lot.
KW United throwing it in right in front of us. A little miss down there and kicked out. Coming through is Reinicke. He's certainly done an excellent job here in this first half as we're over a minute into stoppage time. And they move along. Going to hear those whistles, that whistle here very shortly to signify we are at halftime and no score. There it is. So no score at the half. The two teams will go over things and get set for the second half of action. No scoring in the first half. 0-0 after the New York Red Bulls U23 coming through with a 2-1 victory over Ocala to advance to the final on Sunday.
tactical game, kind of a slow developing game, and it ends in just absolutely fascinating fashion with that superb free kick from Julian Buescher. So they move on to KW United. They'll face a New York Red Bulls team that had to play the extra 30 minutes tonight, and they only have 3 field subs, Mark.
Yeah, that's correct. So we'll see how that all plays out. We will be bringing you the webcast, and if it's set like we did this time, we are set to start about 5 minutes before kickoff, which would be on the East Coast, 4:55, Central Time, 3:55, Mountain Time, 2:55, and here on the Pacific Coast, 1:55 on Sunday. That's